Children of narcissists. What children and kids mean to narcissistic parents. Welcome to today's topic, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Coach Tobias Forst, founder of Achilles Life Coaching, decade-long recipient of narcissistic abuse, and I've saved myself from it. And I will support you on your journey to your personal freedom. So most of you will have at least one parent who is or was narcissistic. In some of your cases, it might be or might have been both of them. So whenever I speak of narcissistic parents, you can feel free to interchange that with father, mother, or both of them. And over the course of finding out more about life, context, heritage, behavior, personality styles, and the oddities in your own family, you will increasingly ask yourself, what was actually your role, your function, your importance to your narcissistic father or your narcissistic mother, or both of them? Now, we will go through many of those today, and feel free to add and comment whatever you feel like sharing in the comment section below, what your personal experience as a child of narcissistic parents or a narcissistic parent was or has been. So, what was your function, your role as a child to your narcissistic parents? Like every other single human being, or life form in general, you were a chess piece on a board to be moved whenever and however and wherever they pleased. There is no unity, no community among narcissists because they amongst themselves or toward each other are also seen as chess pieces. That's why they are loners. That said, as a chess piece, your role was to yield supply, to yield narcissistic supply. That's an additional function. But the price, in quotation marks, the price of you actually being capable of giving narcissistic supply to your narcissistic mother or your narcissistic father required an additional role. And the additional role is you were an investment project. Because as a toddler, there is not really that much narcissistic supply coming along from your side to them. So, dealing with the toddler you and the very little kid you back then required a lot of time, energy, and effort without very much return. So in a way, you were a costly investment project until such a time when you were capable of yielding the desired narcissistic supply, whenever, however, and wherever daddy or mommy pleased. What else was your role? You were a nuisance. You were a nuisance. And why is that? We have to differentiate between a little bit, slight overlap, but a little bit of a differentiation between narcissist mother, narcissist father. Mother will have a problem, will have had a problem with the fact that your birth came with a change of her physique. This is actually part of the human package deal of being a birth-giving adult human female. But in her mind, that was all on you. And you cost her the beauty, the physique, and a lot of free time. On the other hand, narcissistic dad, big problem for him, especially in case if your mother is a healthy and normal woman. Problem for him was that 100%, especially after having socially isolated mother, 100% of all the attention, the supply that he used to get, a lion's share of it now went to toddler you back then, for the simple fact that it had to. And if she was a healthy woman, she loved it, and it was out of the question to follow whatever helping, nurturing impulse she had, reading off of you whatever you needed. But that was a problem and a nuisance for Dad. What else was your role? Your role was to be a tool of extortion, especially when you were younger, and especially in cases where a divorce was up on the horizon and somebody was very keenly working on making that happen. And now, little you was used as a tool of triangulation and a tool of what was the term I just used? Extortion. There we go. Too many examples on my mind right now. So you were being used, because if daddy or mommy or vice versa doesn't comply, then there will be limited time with toddler you, baby you, young kid you back then. And in case you were older at a certain point and had a bit more of an idea of how awkward the family situation actually was, then they tried to gaslight you and use you as a triangulation tool, because, mommy's acting stupid today again. Give her a break. You're giving her a break, or you gave her a break, and you knew that that mommy wasn't stupid, but daddy keeps saying so. Or the other way around, that, daddy's got so much to do, he's never really there. Don't take it personal that he doesn't care as much about you as I do. Really? Was that the fact, or was that just what narcissistic mommy used to say? So at a certain point you were being used without knowing that you were being used as a tool of extortion. And in other cases, they might just try to alienate the other parent by insinuating toward you that or bringing certain allegations to bear in the hopes that you believe them. What else was your role? Let's stay with one last negative aspect and another one that's just a bit more positive in a way, if that can even be the case, but it's a bit more, at least a cringy one. But the negative one first. You were, and I had to look this up, what the translation for English was, and it's really funny when you think about it. You were an albatross around his or her neck. That's actually apparently what you guys in the US are saying, but here we go. How and in what ways were you maybe and possibly an albatross around somebody's neck? Because you as a human being had hopes, needs and requirements and wishes, and wanted the help and the time from mommy or daddy. And why was that a problem? It was a problem in all of those cases where mommy or daddy, narcissistic mom or narcissistic dad, or both of them, didn't perceive it as them getting anything out of it. Now, last but not least, what else was your role to narcissistic parents? You were the best accessory. Weren't you just amazing when you were in your late 20s and you were one of the best, or you became one of the best public speakers? Weren't you the best accessory when you played piano in front of the whole university? Standing ovations. Weren't you the best accessory when the press brought an article or wrote an article about you that praised you and your skills, or weren't you the best accessory when back at school you won the competition. But it wasn't really about you. The twinkle in their eyes wasn't so much about you as it was about what you just gave them. Better public image. So anything and everything that affects public image in a positive way is what made you or makes you a very good and amazing accessory to them. Like the shiny handbag. But this handbag can talk and walk. This is how they see it. It has nothing to do with reality. Their perspective about you and about everyone else, and you're not alone with being seen in that way. Everyone else is supposedly a chess piece to be moved. So taking all that into consideration, what can you extrapolate from that? What can you use now for you, for your individual situation with narcissistic parents or a narcissistic parent? If you want to get out of this and dissolve this bond of negativity to one of them or both of them, there is no way around you practicing or starting to practice radical acceptance. Radical acceptance in the way that mother or father or both of them was nothing more and never has been anything more than a 50% contributor to your physical hull that you are wearing. Nothing more and nothing less. The fact that you might share the same last name, and the fact that when you look at that illustration of a family tree, the mere fact that they are one place above you, like as in time before you, that they came before you, does not make them special. Radical acceptance is something for you to practice in an additional way. Your realization that it was never about you. You never mattered to them. Your character never mattered to them. It was only what you could give them. Narcissistic supply. Especially when you behaved in a becoming way. Whatever the current definition of becoming for him is, or her, and whatever its definition will be in an hour or in 3 days. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, your process in order for you to heal is to learn to let go. Make that cut, that incision into that bond. And this is not a mere act, it's a process. And there is no guarantee as to its duration, but it is possible and it will take time. And it is worth every single step of the way until you reach that point. One of your best and staunchest allies on that way, that path in that process will be grey rock. To not let yourself be affected by negativity, invalidation and gaslighting. Short answers, simple answers, one-word answers. Yes, no, okay, yeah, interesting. I didn't know that. I see. I hear you. Minimize those negativity rain droplets hitting you and the occasional lightning that's being cast at you while you're in the process of removing yourself emotionally and mentally from him or her, your narcissistic father, your narcissistic mother, or both of them. Until such a time where you can go no contact. It is not a requirement, no contact, but it is certainly very helpful. Now, to conclude, I would like to read a few words to you from Star Wars The Old Republic, a quote by Emperor Valkorion. And two things before we go into that quote. One, as he is talking and narrating to his two twin sons, you can exchange the word man for woman. Second, it might sound very dreary and dark, but it holds a very, very positive message. And I will explain after the quote. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Quote, "A man can have anything if he is willing to sacrifice. With your birth comes a solemn vow. You will have nothing. Your privilege is the dirt. In the darkness, only ambition will guide you. The oath you swear, the promises you make, they are yours alone. Your freedom will be the wars you wage, your birthright, the losses you suffer, your entitlement, the pain you endure. And when darkness finds you, you will face it alone." And this holds so much power, ladies and gentlemen. Because it's not a you might face, it's a you will face. You will face it, at first alone, because if you are not in a position and a state of mind where you actually are ready to receiving help, nothing will change. So regardless, you will need to work on that. You will have to face it alone. There's a reason why I tell you each and every time, be your own hero, be your own heroine. Because you have to. This is a task that nobody can take from you. And this gives you so much agency, ladies and gentlemen. It gives you so much power. And regardless of how small the steps might be, steps they are. And the direction is the one that you are taking, that you are actively choosing to take. So take your power. Walk your steps. Get up. And the people with the same last name? Who gives a rat's bum? Be your own hero and be your own heroine. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.